It's time to learn about Cam Sanders. How can the pitching prospect help the Cubs in 2023? Here we go.
Are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy, and you're tuned in to another week of Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Please support the show and be a part of the Locked On Cubs community by following and subscribing on all audio platforms. And you can watch, subscribe, and leave a comment on YouTube. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Well, this is a really intriguing week for us here on the program and for everybody joining us because this is the last week without a regular season baseball game.
How fun is that?
We will be with you here Monday through Thursday this week, then back to 5 episodes. I guess it would be for the next 6 months, Sam, as opening day is 10 days away. We do have some exciting things to announce this week. One is going to be later in this episode, and then another announcement later this week on Wednesday or Thursday's show as well. We're going to talk some prospects here at the start, though, and one person that has now entered our radars, and Sam has mentioned him a couple times on this show, is Cam Sanders, a right-handed relief prospect. Going to go over a little bit about him. Then we're going to dive into the possibility of him even making the opening day roster. Sanders pitching well, impressing the Cubs brass in spring training right now. 10 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings. His most recent appearance was on Friday against the White Sox in spring training action. He's only allowed 1 run on 2 hits, 2 walks, 26 years young, right-handed pitcher. He was a 12th round pick out of LSU. His dad, Scott Sanders, pitched 7 years in the bigs, and his final year was with the Cubs. Cam Sanders switched from starter to reliever last summer when he was promoted to AAA, and he finished pretty well out of the pen with the I-Cubs. The main draw for me here is this is a 4-pitch guy, fastball, curveball, and changeup, and then a new addition this spring, him and every other reliever in the nation, sweeping slider. And his fastball, Sam, in Friday's game hit 99. This is an intriguing option for them, if not March 30th, and at some point this year.
Well, it's also I'm not going to use that word because I use it all the time. I'll say an exciting option because we see more and more, and look no further than Mr. Fulmer at the back end of the bullpen, success stories of starters that converted starters to relievers. And, Sanders did not have a ton of success in the minor leagues as a starter. But as you said, he came on strong last year in relief, and you can't ignore the stats. You can't ignore the stuff. And some of these guys are just better suited to pitch in short bursts. And whether I like it or not, spoiler alert, I don't, that's where the league is trending towards relievers and less starters, going deeper in games and more relievers coming in and cleaning up for you. And with his 99 and his pitches, he's really stuck out to me this spring. And, one thing we haven't talked about on the show, because I didn't realize it till last week, Mark Leiter Jr. has an option. He could leave before March 30th.
I saw that.
Yeah. So, I don't know how we would have known that until someone reported it.
Right.
But, if he leaves or even if he doesn't, I think they're really, Cam Sanders is going to pitch this year. Like you said it correctly. It may not be March 30th, but it could be April 5th. Like, who knows when it's going to be, but I think he's going to be a real part of this bullpen because he is exactly the type of guy the Cubs are missing, have been missing the last, 10 years. Just a guy that just has absolutely electric stuff that kind of came from nowhere as a converted starter. And I expect similar stuff from Alzolay. We already know Keegan Thompson. So, it seems like the Cubs are starting to find a little bit of a niche here with starters that, I don't want to be disrespectful to Keegan because it sounded like he was a terrible starter,
Yeah.
but starters that just are better suited as relievers. And, you don't want to get in the habit of it because you need starters, but I really like that. I really like that format.
And there's so many success stories, as you've said, even you look no further than Fulmer, from starter to a bullpen piece, and the Mark Leiter Jr. So if he doesn't make opening day, he could leave, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So that would incentivize the Cubs to put him on the roster, with jives with our projection from Thursday's show. And with his splits, he's kind of a pseudo lefty, despite being, literally a right-handed pitcher.
Sure. Reverse split guy.
It's interesting because Megan Montemurro put out a story over the weekend, and of the Chicago Tribune, hopefully a future guest of this program, Cary, Illinois native.
Oh, wow. A lot to talk about on your end.
Yeah, she reports there are, quote, multiple spots remaining in flux, end quote, in the bullpen.
Yeah.
She specifically singles out Sanders as a candidate. And then she is reporting, and I think some others might be as well, but I know 100% the Trib is reporting this with Megan. Adrian Sampson and Javier Assad are now candidates to make the opening day roster out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting.
Yeah.
Because especially in Assad's case, who's now made 2 appearances out of the pen for Mexico in the WBC, I think he would be a ideal complement to Smiley. Smiley goes 4, Assad goes 3. Smiley goes 5, Assad goes 3. And Cam Sanders would be a 1-inning guy, but is this trending where, all right, let's just put all the best pitching pieces we can for March 30th and let's go? That would really be cool. Sanders, Assad, Wisniewski, Leiter. If that's the way it's trending, that's very exciting.
Yeah, I said it. I said it last week. I don't think you could ignore what Assad was doing in the WBC. It just was. It was too tantalizing. I don't think Sampson makes sense. Like,
right.
If you were to put,
he seems like a waste of a spot.
Yeah, if you were to put him in, you're only putting him in to pitch junk time because you can't trust the guy that's given up 10 home runs in that short amount of time. You just can't. It's just irresponsible to the team and irresponsible to the fan base. He might be tipping his pitches. Like, something is fun. Like, what people don't understand, you could take a high school pitcher, a varsity pitcher, a good one. He's not going to give up 10 home runs in 8 1/3 innings in a spring.
Right.
Like, there's something fundamentally wrong with him right now.
It's extreme.
That needs to be fixed. So I'd like to remove him, if possible, from that candidacy and go to, I think it's between Assad, Sanders, Leiter, Merriweather, and Wick. I think those are the spots that are kind of, what do we do with all those arms? And
right.
My take on Wick. I've kind of been over him for a while. 2-pitch guy. Neither pitches I consider really a plus pitch. If he doesn't have command of one of them, he's almost unpitchable. That's not really a recipe for a great reliever. And yeah, I'm with you, man. I really like the way things are. I think, with Assad and these younger guys, I think there may be a little bit of growing pains pitching at Wrigley in April, because just with like command and stuff, because it's so cold, like grip wise. But I really think it's it would be that'd be a really fun group if Assad and Sanders made the team.
Be great.
That would be a really tough team. Cause I said it, I'll continue to say, I think the bullpen's the biggest strength of this team. And I think their pitching depth is their biggest strength. And I think their bullpen is their biggest strength. And having somebody like Assad in there that can pitch multiple innings, have Thompson in there that can pitch multiple innings is very advantageous, especially early in the season.
And we're getting to the point in spring training where we're getting rounds of people getting sent across the hall, so to speak, back to minor league camp. So Cam Sanders has already survived 1 or 2 of those. There's one coming up again soon, probably early this week. So if he makes that, I think we have evidence from the organization that he is firmly in the mix, in addition to what's been reported. So I'm definitely jacked up about that. And, getting now almost into single-digit days from opening day. Let's start rolling the windows down. Let's start playing the music. It's just I'm so excited for baseball.
I know it's really exciting. I wish, and I know it's not feasible. I wish the for you opening days doesn't make a difference because you'll be able to watch. I wish opening day was like on a Friday instead of a
Yeah,
Thursday. I mean, it's like that every year, so it's fine.
right,
It's just because I'll be a little bit because like I just want to just enjoy that whole day,
right. I'm on spring
Uh,
break that week.
but then the weekend will be special, and and
Might have some. Are you up to anything that weekend, by
and,
the
and
way?
then it's so cool because then it's 6 straight months of having something to do.
No, it's fantastic. And
I start my 6-month relationship. Like
right.
Thursday, March 30th, it's going to be one of those weird mid-afternoon first dates where you just meet for some coffee, and then it's going to be a 6-month. And if things go great, if things go incredible,
Another month or two.
maybe 7 months.
Right, right. Oh, that's phenomenal. Wow.
Yeah, and then it'll end. The relationship will end.
And in that 6-month relationship, you need some gear, I think.
Sure.
And if you had to get a Cubs jersey, whose would it be and why? We're going to tackle that next and rank the Cubs 4 jerseys for the 23 campaign. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. They have simple tools like screening questions that make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire, which is why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number one in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back to Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. And this part of the show originates initially from listener Caleb on Twitter, who asked to our Locked On Cubs account, that's at Locked On Cubs on Twitter, if you're going to buy a Cubs jersey for the 2023 season, whose jersey would you get and why? So we're each going to rank our own top 5. Almost positive there's going to be some crossover here.
Well, if there isn't,
And
that'd be really weird.
I would like to go from 5 to 1. We could alternate. We could do a straight 5, and then we're going to rate the jersey tops of the Cubs this year after that. So at number 5 position, Sam, I have Seiya Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
He's a player that is signed up for multiple years. Hopefully has a high ceiling still. He was somebody that was almost in my first out, like a first 4 out, if this was a Lenardi thing,
Sure.
a bracketology,
Yeah.
because he's not available right now.
What a great month it was for Lenardi.
Yeah, holy smokes. But I did put him in there at number 5. Would you like me to keep going, or would you like to give your fifth?
Well, first of all, I do want to say, just because we do have a loyal audience, yes, we are aware that both our teams, by the way, lost in March. We're just going to move on from it. We're watching the Cubs. We're moving on. I'll go because I had Suzuki before the injury in my top 3. Now he is not my top 5.
Wow.
Because I just how can I buy a jersey of a guy that I just don't trust his availability? So I'm going to do kind of a cheap one here at number 5 because I still think he's in the top 5, and that's Kyle Hendricks.
Wow.
Yeah, I just think that there's always going to be a connection to the old days, and while he's on the roster, he's still one of the most recognizable faces on this team, and I'm still not counting him out just yet. So I'm going to go Hendricks 5.
Okay, number 4, I'm going to go Keegan Thompson.
Wow, what a weird jersey.
Yeah, a weird pick, but I think a
No, it's not a
A
weird pick. It's not a
reasonable
weird pick.
selection.
It's not a weird pick.
Okay.
That's just a weird, wearing around a middle reliever. You know what I mean?
It's a little bit hipster, but it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Here's a
No.
middle reliever that might even finish some ball games, might
No, I agree.
record some saves. Hopefully his ERA starts with the 1 or 2. I think he's a big piece. I like him.
I fully support that. My number 4 is going to be Justin Steele, left-hander from Mississippi. Yeah, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Young pitcher, should be with the Cubs for a while. Had a breakout year last year, hoping to build on it. A very likable guy, very competitive guy, and I just want to say it now. I don't have Stroman in my top 5. Spoiler
Same.
alert. And it's not. It's just I just want to see what happens with Stroman. The way he left the Mets, like, will he finish out his career here? How long will he be here?
Right.
I want to see a little bit more from him. It's just Stroman is more. Excuse me, Steele is more of a Cub, if you will. He was brought up here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I have Steele 4.
I have Swanson 3rd, Dansby Swanson. Big free agent acquisition this offseason for the Cubs. And 7-year deal, so you have some longevity with your purchase.
Sure.
He plays perhaps the most important position on the field, shortstop. And, I think those are my main reasons.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's more than fair. I have number 3, and I don't know if we clarified this or not before the show. Does it have to be current big leaguers?
Oh, well, we didn't clarify it.
Okay, because number 3 on my list right now is going to be X equals Mr. Larson, my 8th grade math teacher. It's going to be PCA.
Hey, wow.
Yeah, I think he's I think if
what
you're
an incredible choice. I might have to walk off.
No, because the reason why is, it can't be Bellinger. He's on a 1-year deal.
Correct.
This is somebody that I feel like is going to be within the Cubs organization for the next decade. He's got a floor as high as an 8-foot pool. That analogy made no sense, but he's got a very high. He's got a very high floor. He's a likable guy. He speaks like a big leaguer. For me, it was between I had somebody, but it was between him and Wisniewski for my 3 spot.
That's cool.
And I decided to go with PC, because I just feel like you're going to see a lot of PCA jerseys at Wrigley this summer.
Yeah, and aesthetically, is he going to have his full last name, Crow-Armstrong? It's quite long.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be smaller font.
Okay, very good. All right, well, that was a phenomenal pick.
Yes.
Second, I have Justin Steele. So
Yeah.
you already spoke of him. I echo those sentiments. So is there another prospect for you, number 2? I mean, who's number 2?
I didn't go cheap. I went number 2, Dansby Swanson.
Okay.
I haven't used Dansby yet. Look, Dansby Swanson's everything you want in a big league shortstop. He's a good-looking guy. He's a winner. He's a great guy to have as part of your organization.
Yeah.
I think you'll see a lot of Dansby Swanson jerseys this year. He might get off to a slow start offensively because he hasn't really made any contact this spring, but that's neither here nor there. Hopefully he gets going. And I think, this is the biggest compliment I could give Dansby Swanson. I think we could win a world championship with him as our starting shortstop.
Wow.
And so that's a really big part. He's going to be here. To me, it's the safest buy. It's the safest buy, a Swanson jersey. So, number 2.
All right. Seems like we have a shared number 1 in Nico Horner, who's under team control through 2025. He has become a fan favorite of many after coming up back in 2019 at this point, making an impact both on and off the field. Now moves over to second base, sure to be a cornerstone there up the middle, top of the order, middle of the order. And so I think it's a very clear number 1.
Yeah, so for me, I went with Tucker, but no, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, Nico, self-explanatory, just a Cub through and through, a guy that we're rooting for to be, to be that guy you think of when you think Cubs, even though, to me, the Nico Horner comp that I want to make in 10, 15 years. And and it's a very different role. They do it differently, but it's the same type of players. Dustin Pedroia of
Wow.
Boston, right? A winner, World Series champion, second baseman that you always felt good when he was up in big moments for Boston. Just that type of guy. And Boston fans will tell you,
Crazy, dog.
of course, Big Poppy and
Right.
Manny and all these guys, but they'll tell you Dustin Pedroia is loved as much as all those guys, if not more. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the type of guy Nico Horner is. So that's our number one. So just to recap the list, in case you, in case you didn't
Yeah.
miss it.
We didn't have a graphic ready.
Yeah, no. You heard us.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a good rankings list. And then I'm just gonna go a straight 1 through 4 from top to bottom for jersey tops.
Yeah.
Of course, there is the rumor that alternate blues are returning to home games. Um, my guess is that's not going to officially be announced until they actually do it, which could only be 10 days away. We'll see.
Right.
But 1 for me is home white, 2 alternate blue, 3 road gray, 4 city connect. What say you?
Number 1, a home white. Number 2, gray. Number 3,
Okay.
alternate blue. Number 4, City Connect. Here's the caveat.
Right.
Flip gray and alternate blue if alternate blue is accompanied by the white pinstripe pants at Wrigley Field. If we're talking about the blue with the gray, that's third for me. I don't like that look.
Oh, okay. I enjoy it.
I like going gray on gray more.
Okay.
So that's my list.
Fantastic. Well, this has just been a great show so far. And we're going to wrap it up with our first big announcement of the week. We're doing a little bit of promotion here towards the start of the season in the form of a giveaway. And we're going to explain what that is coming up next. Today's episode is also brought to you by Built Bar. The Built March Madness bracket is here. Of course, March Madness is going on out on the court right now, and so is the Built March Madness bracket. Go to builtmarchmadness.com to vote for your favorites. I know I'll be voting for the cookies and cream bar, and you can support your bar or puff as well. When
Raspberry.
you vote at builtmarchmadness.com, you'll be entered into a drawing where 50 lucky Locked On listeners will get a free box of Built. Not only that, but then an additional one Locked On fan will win a 1-year subscription to Built Bar to have Built's best bars or puffs delivered monthly straight to your door. So if you haven't tried Built yet, now is the great time to do it. This is 100% real chocolate, 130 calories, a whopping 17 grams of protein, and you can get those at your local Walmart or Sam's Club in a 4-bar box as well. So go to builtmarchmadness.com right now and vote for your favorite bar or puff and pick up a box while you're there. You can vote every day in March, so hop in and support your pick for Built Bar today. Welcome back to Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen. And we're in your ears on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts, which is a good segue because we are going to be doing a giveaway of a Cubs jersey, and the winner will pick the name and number for that jersey. And the promo is this: you have to be following the show on the Apple Podcast app. You have Apple Podcasts. That's where you listen to the show. Make sure you click the follow button. After you do that, the giveaway is this: you can submit a 5-star written review. So you're on our Locked On Cubs page on Apple Podcasts. You scroll down a bit to ratings and reviews, and then you press write review. When you get to that spot, just put a brief title, and then in the review box, you write something about the show. So a 5-star written review is the giveaway promo. This takes up, the review usually takes up to 7 days to show up on Apple's side. So this needs to have a timestamp in order to qualify of between now and opening day. So between now and March 30th, in order to be eligible for the contest, have to follow the show on Apple Podcast and submit that 5-star written review. When March 30th arrives, we'll go into the app and see who has done that in these 10-day window here. And then we'll pick a winner from there. And again, the winner will get a name, could pick their own name and number for the shirsey. So Apple Podcast giveaway. Again, make sure you're following the show and then submit a 5-star review between now and March 30th to win a Cubs shirsey. Very fun.
Name and number, if you pick Swanson, you're going to usually use his number, right?
Right. I know. Well, unless they want it customizable, guess
they could
would be it's going to be a Cubs player.
They could do their own.
Right. You see that occasionally.
Yeah, you do. And then there's also another giveaway I'd like to announce on opening day. On opening day, you can get to the ballpark really early, and then at the crossing section between Sheffield and Kenmore Ave, you can catch Edwin Rios's BP. Because that guy has some of the most natural power I've ever seen. You could ride your bike down Kenmore, get on a cross section, and you might see a ball just roll down that little hill about 595 feet away from Wrigley Field. So
we might do a live show from Kenmore Ave this summer.
Yeah. So if you don't win the shirsey giveaway, fear not. Just get to the park early and just post up on Sheffield.
And I'll put the qualifiers in the description of this episode as well, just so everybody has it. And we'll shout it out at the end of each episode this week. And then remember, on Wednesday or Thursday's program, we're also going to announce something else, which we're really excited about coming up soon. All right, fun show. Make sure you're subscribed on the video side as well. Smash the like button for all your favorite Locked On Cubs content, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more on the audio side. And we're going to do a mailbag this week where you can drop us a text, or brand new as of last week, leave us a voicemail at 312-834-4634. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Baseball. Win your league by listening to Matt and Dom on Locked On Fantasy Baseball as they bring you the best fantasy draft strategies. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.